Hey guys, Kai from Kai's Take Corner here, back for another live reaction. And this time, yeah, again, like always, I'll be doing the live reaction and then I'll be doing the review and my thoughts after the intro. So, like always, live reactions first instead of an introduction before the intro, and then I do my full-on review afterwards. So you know the drill of my live reactions, so you know that. So, okay, so let's begin. FT starts. On that day Fior was engulfed by light. What finally emerged beyond that glimmering light? Please don't go, Zera. You can't. Don't leave me alone. But you're not alone. Now, are you? No, I just want to be together with you forever, Zera. Chapter 490, Fairy Taill 0. Mavis, do you know where fairies live? In my heart. And what about me? This isn't goodbye. Although these clothes are merely an illusion, no one's here. The guild is completely empty. The whole arena was enveloped by a brilliant light just now. What exactly was that? Oh! Mavis. What happened to everyone? You couldn't have. No, this wasn't my handiwork. To be honest with you, this entire situation has me rather perplexed as well. What business do you have here? What business do I have being alive? Ooh. What the hell just happened? Better yet, where the hell are we? You're right on top of that. On me, actually. Lucy, happy? Last thing I remember, we were all struck all by Augus's magic. Feel free to stop groping. Ah, that big explosion, yeah, I negated it. To some extent. Good thing it was heat-type magic. Or so you negate. I guess the question now is why and how did we end up in a place like this? I can't get a whiff of either mess or Brandish's scent. Not to mention I can't feel Augus's presence at all. What exactly transpired during all that chaos? Right as I saw the whole sky light up, just like that, the landscape completely changed. Or could it be we were teleported somewhere? Great summer. It's no use. Julia wasn't able to locate Wendy or Sharla. I'll go search for them. This time, look after Urza for me. Yes. Great, Juvia, Urza. What should we do? It seems we've been separated. What about their scent? Nothing. Where exactly are we? Outside. How did we get outdoors all of a sudden? More importantly, where the hell is this? Okay. What's going on? A lot of our guildmates aren't here. And what about the first? Has anybody seen her? What the hell? This can't be right. Whatever's ever, just work your magic and calculate our current location. Why are you all here? Mira? Lizana? Went the two of you up at north? The sky started shining all of a sudden. Same thing happened to us. It's the enemy. There's a huge army right nearby. They're heading straight for us. Master, prepare for battle. Fjord's geography, it's completely different. You'll be alright now. I've shrunk your wounds to a negligible size. What did you do, August? This was not my doing. It's Aline's compression magic. Compression? She enchanted the entire nation with her magic and changed its very shape. I can't believe it. And as a result, the people of Fior were rearranged atop this newly modified geography randomly at that. What could she possibly stand to gain by? These were the side effects of her efforts to rearrange a particular person to a particular place. In all likelihood, her aim was to send Her Majesty as close to Fairy Heart as possible and acknowledge somewhere as far in the distance. In other words, her aim is to bring this war to an abrupt end. So you're saying that all the people within the kingdom were split up and sent randomly to various places. Of course, the same goes for my allies as well. And that's not all. The overall landscape of Theo has grown smaller. I'd estimate about 1/20th of its former size, perhaps less. For the sake of increasing the encountering rate between Fairy Taill and the Alvarez army, correct, I'd wager that her aim is, in her own way, Aline is trying to end this war while it's still in the early stages. And thanks to her efforts, here I stand, and that which I seek, Fairy Heart, is right before my eyes. It may have been my first attempt at using this magic, but it appears the end results were quite favourable. At the very least, His Majesty is now on Fairy Taill's doorstep, and Agnora is probably floating around in the ocean somewhere right about now. Now then, in truth, not even I know where I ended up, but this is quite the place you have here. Having said all that, where is this? Just who are you? What finally emerged beyond that glimmering light was, look at this. I warped and destroyed for your kingdom. Various people and buildings were scattered across the land. Caridia Cathedral and Mercurius, were they always this close together? Buildings that were formerly in complete different towns are now in the same place. It was as if we had lost our way in a completely different world. Just what was it that's awaiting us in the strange land, hope or despair? Oh god, that's took me a while, but okay guys. Okay, so let me do this review correctly. So let's hit the intro, and like always, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Links are down in the video description, and I'll be repeating those at the end of the video as well. But let's hit this intro and the review for Fairy Taill. Chapter 490.
Double up.
Okay, so Fairy Taill chapter 490. We learn more about Irene's continental reformatting magic, and what happened is Fiora's now 1/20th of its population, or probably less, according to Zera. Zera has been warped to exactly now is with Mavis, and we are now really constructing on the whole possibility, and we've got more of an explanation of why she's doing this. Brand just shrunken down some of August's wounds as well, as they were warped together somewhere else, and Natsu and Lucy were together along with Happy, I think closer to the kingdom of Fior, where the king and the princess is. So they're close there, so I could potentially see a Natsu vs Irene fight, but it all depends. But like I said, at some cases, some people have said that Irene might not be all this bad and everything, but I digress. So we learn more about that. The ending, we get to see a glimpse of what Hero thinks is hell, because the last thing he knows is that he's dead, and that we saw Zera at the end of this chapter. Now this is the confusion bit. So Fairy Taill's origin. Zera is in Mavis's heart, so it's the
image of Zera now being re-released and being projected so all of Fairy Taill can see her? Or is Gargeel actually in hell and he's just waking up in hell and just thinking the last thing he knows because he's wondering if Zera is one of the remnants of hell. Now, this is the thing. For people that have been reading the manga and have ignored Zera and just get a glimpse of Zera in this flashback of this chapter titled Fairy Taill Zero, I highly, as always, highly recommend you go and read Fairy Taill Zero or watch the anime adaptation because you get to brief and glimpse and more understanding who Zera is and the origins of Fairy Taill. So even more now, after reading this chapter, I recommend you to go back reading Fairy Taill Zero, the manga prequel, or watch the anime arc of Fairy Taill as well. You got those two because both of them are, the anime is a faithful adaptation of the prequel manga. So you have two choices of to go. You can read or watch. But I recommend that because I wonder if Zera's now got a big part to play now in Fairy Taill as an astral spirit, or is she actually back alive? Or is Gargeel actually in hell and he's just seeing now Zera in hell as he is? It all depends of what's going on. So Irene's compression magic. So far we learned that it shrinks, it literally compresses the aerial space she decides to engulf. So pretty much it literally means that instead of it being how it used to be, how it normally is, she compressed it so where a lot of things are now closer than they used to be. So a lot of the land is now gone and like towns and cities that used to be apart are now closer than normal, and that it literally is like continental shifting where if we go into geography terms, where she can compress or control the ways the tectonic plates move. And we all know that the tectonic plates like move and rupture to create volcanoes, earthquakes, and everything in that sort of nature. So when it comes to this, it really means that she is compressing it and making Fior smaller than it once was. So where Agnologia is, he's now in the sea, she thinks, and Zera thinks he's now in the sea, and she's now at the palace, and everybody else is where everybody else is within this chapter, Mary Jane and everything. But yeah, so like I said, the continental plates literally might have a big part, but she literally has compressed, and I mean compressed, like condensed, the area of Fior, so it's like more, I think, of an island than it was. And I think she also been able to compress the tectonic plates so they're a little bit more closer together, or they're a little bit more further apart, because in geography terms you can't really change a certain land with magic without also factoring in the tectonic plates into this whole strain of things. Anyway, so everybody ends up being, most people are now back with the guild and everybody's there. Brandish is with August and Mest is somewhere and I don't freaking care where Mest is. At this moment in time, what Mest done, I don't care. So wherever he is, I'm hoping he's far away and we don't see him again, or he gets killed, or he ends up with bloody August and Brandish because he's going to explain everything, but I don't want him to explain everything because his reasonings were idiotic. Now, anyway, that's my little rant. Now, this chapter was really good. Much more questions have been lifted up and need to be answered next chapter, and I'm really curious about what's going on with this chapter as well, because Eileen ended up in the kingdom, you know, where the princess is and the king is of Fior, and where the grand magic games are normally held. And that's, I think, landed in a forest area roughly around near it, because every place has been moved closer together, and that part of Fior has now lost, and I think it's now become a little island, but it all depends on how that works. But other than that, this was a fun chapter, a little bit more introduction to this chapter as well as what's going to happen next chapter. It's going to be a big question. But it was a great chapter all in all, and I really recommend you guys checking out Fairy Taill Zero if you haven't, because it's a great story as of yet, and I do recommend it. Now, as always, I've been your host, Kai from Kai's Take Corner, member of the 00 Club, and comment down below what your theories of predicting of the next few battles are. Is it going to be Natsu versus Luz? And what is Zera's role now in Fairy Taill, that she has now been fully introduced into the main Fairy Taill story because of the tower being called Fairy Taill? Zera, what is her main plot point or plot device for this arc now of Fairy Taill? All you can do is comment down below and tell me what you think is going to be happening. Anyway, I've been your host, Kai from Kai's Take Corner, and I'll see you next time. Member of the 00 Club as well, and I'll see you next time. See ya! Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed this week's review of Fairy Taill chapter 490. I enjoyed making and recording this review, and hopefully you enjoyed the live reaction as well. It wasn't as much of a live reaction as last week's or the last time I did a live reaction for Fairy Taill, but I think this is going to be one of those type of calm type of live reactions, because the ending was a great whoa moment type of live reaction, and it really does surprise me on where this chapter is heading as well. But like always, you can click the I for the last week for my last 3 Fairy Taill reviews, and also check out the playlist by hitting the I, where it will drop down a menu where you can check them out. If you liked what you saw, you can hit that subscribe button as well, so you can keep up to date with all my videos. And if you want to follow me on Facebook or Twitter, links are down in the video description. And if you want to follow me on Anime and Mino, just Google the in Anime and Mino Kai's Take Corner and follow me on there as well. But anyway, I've been your host, Kai from Kai's Take Corner, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now. See ya. Continental magic is really ain't a time little like contradicting magic by the looks of things. She just reconstructed Fior to become smaller, like it's called. It's continental magic, and continental means she can re-change depending on how big her circle is. She can say that I live in the UK. Say that her magic covers the whole of UK and does it and reforms it to what she wants, so she can make it smaller, shrink it, or even transfer it and replace it with a chunk of America and swap the two out in there, so that Britain becomes part of America, and a part of America is where Britain used to be, that kind of thing. So she can shift like the tectonic plates in the earth. So, because we all know, this is going to be somewhat of a geography lesson as well, so we all know that tectonic plates like rupture and everything and create earthquakes and stuff, and it's also what helped form the earth and the landscapes as it is because of how they move. Now, she can control the tectonic plates by the things with her continental magic to reform the whole land where she is standing to then change it how we then see it.